Welcome back. This is our third and last session of the Winter Conditioning Challenge. We're not going to give you as many exercises now because we're hoping that you've been building up your repertoire with the ones we've given you. You should have had a little bit more strength, a little bit more balance. And today we're going to work on muscle connection and making sure that we don't favor or drop one side and that we feel where our body is in the saddle. We're going to reconnect some muscles. So we're going to do a few less exercises. These are very small movement exercises, but they can be pretty intense. Start with about 5 reps. You can build up to 10 or 15, but you will feel this, even if they're very small. So our first exercise today I call the pendulum. This is about feeling where your legs are, letting your weight drop evenly, and feeling the connection from the foot all the way up to the hip. I want you to make sure that your legs are rotated in from your thighs, toes, knees, hips, shoulders. Everything is going to be pointing forward. So you don't want to be in your dance or duck position. You want to rotate your thigh in and let your legs fall straight down. No stirrups for this beginning. Your feet are going to be pointing forward, and instead of our calf exercise where we rotated our ankles, which is about articulation, we're going to be having our feet forward and our foot flat. And we're going to be doing tiny circles, 2 of them out. Go ahead, ladies. 2 of them go out or in, pick a direction. And you're going to imagine the bottom of your foot is wiping the floor. You want your foot to be flat. They're going to be very small. There is no bend to the knee. This is just the base of the foot. So try to feel a small circle. And go in both directions. Want to do this for a little bit until you feel the weight of your foot. It should feel like a pendulum, a big ball hanging off of a string. And once you feel that you've got that and you have some motion through your foot, and it's got that swing in the bottom of the foot, allow it to move up a little bit. Try not to bend your knee and rotate like this, but to let it hang and let the weight come from the top of the leg, still keeping it very small. Both legs in and both legs out. And then let that motion grow a little more so you're rotating from the top of the hip and you're going to let that whole leg bounce around. See if you can sit up tall. Make sure that you're letting that weight go forward and around. If you're doing this correctly, you should be feeling some hip stability. You might even fatigue a little bit. You might get tired in your hips. And now see how free you can go with that. What's your range of motion through your legs? And then begin to swing your leg forward and back. But don't bend your knees. Remember again, you're still wiping the floor with the bottom of your foot. And then come to still. Let your weight fall down and assess where your feet are, where your hips are in the saddle, where your shoulders are. And see if you feel heavy, maybe a little more grounded, more pulled down into the saddle. We're going to do the next exercise, which is going to be the swing. It's the same idea, only this time you're going to let your legs swing front and back. Just start with your legs bending and swinging this way. Start with them flat, and then let it build up, and let your knees relax a little bit. And then let it go up into your hips, so that you're actually getting a pendulum movement where you're moving through your body. Make sure you're centered in the saddle. Let your hip break so that when you do go back, you bend in the hip. And when you go forward, let your hips rise up. Try to see if you can let that motion take you a little bit. And then slow it down and come to stillness. Again, assess where your body is. You may start out stiff with this. We're of course doing this on the last super cold day of April where we have a secret winter. So it's pretty cold. As it warms up, this should be a little easier. But try to always start by assessing what you feel like before and after the exercise. See if your muscles connect a little bit more. So this is going to be the rib lift. You're gonna have your reins in one hand, take your other hand up over your head so it's straight up. We're not curving in this exercise. This exercise is a straight line up, lifting through your ribs. You're gonna take your weight up, and then you're gonna take your open side of your ribs and push it out to the side. Try not to shift your hips. Try not to reach over. Keep your weight balanced through both feet. You're gonna have your feet in the stirrups for this one, ladies. And you're gonna lift up and then lift your ribs out. You're gonna do this lift 5 times. It's gonna be up, lift out, relax, and down. 5 times on each side. Straight up, lift, and relax, and repeat. This is going to be using your lateral muscles here. You may feel it later. Don't overdo it. These are little specific muscles. So you don't always feel the results right away, but you may feel it the next day and wonder why your stomach hurts. Good. Got it, lady? Okay. All right. So now, after you've done your rib lifts, you want to do it 3 times, 5 repetitions on both sides. Then you're going to take your ribs that you've got nice and loose now, and you're just going to lift right and left, and swing your ribs right side, left side. Remember, this is not a shoulder exercise. This is a lifting of the ribs. So your shoulders want to stay level, your hips want to stay level. You're trying to free up the midsection. So see how little you can do with the rest of your body. Swinging right and left. These are all very small. Good. All right, well, we're going to take these same exercises and we're going to see them in motion on the horse. For the rib lift, you can do it at walk and at trot. You can also do this in your stand and balance. So go ahead and raise one hand up where your elbow is near your ear, hand straight up, and you're going to lift that rib out 5 times. Making sure you're not pulling over and reaching over your head, but going straight up and then out with your ribs. Challenge yourself with doing the rib lift in the stand and balance. Try to do 5 on each side and then keep changing. Remember, you want to do it 3 times, 5 counts. So here we have the pendulum while walking. So again, start to rotate your feet, both feet out, flat foot. Let your legs swing. Try to see how little you can do with your knee. But keep the weight down in the stirrup and let the legs make natural circles underneath the ball of your foot. Then see if you can allow that leg to almost bounce off the side of the horse as you do it. Little circles. And then let that motion move up your leg. And let that leg free up and have a little bigger circle starting up higher on the leg. See if you can show us a little more movement there. It may not be big. You may feel like you're barely moving and your circle might be the size of a quarter. That's okay. Your range of motion can grow with this. You'll discover whether you have tight hips or not. And then go ahead and let both of those legs swing a little bit. Try to keep your toes pointing forward as much as possible. Thigh rolled in. I suggest that you follow this exercise with your marching knees from the other weeks. And you're going to feel a nice, loose, balanced hip. When you do the pendulum swing, try to keep your legs stable if possible. You're going to try and feel a release through your hip. It's almost like your pelvis is going to tip down and then up. You're really looking for a release in your lower back and in your hip joint. This is going to take a little while to find. It's a difficult isolation, but when you do, it should greatly increase your sitting trot and your motion with the horse. When you do the rib swing, you're going to do this at posting trot. You can also do it in stand and balance. But you're going to use the rhythm of the trot and let your ribs rise to either side. So taking that rib lift and just let the pendulum of your ribs go right to left, right to left. You can see how the horse reacts to this and feels comfortable with that balance. And let that rib go a little bit. See how far you can take it from one side to the other. And that's our last exercise that we're adding on. Remember, most of these can be done in your warm-up period, so we're not asking you to do too much. That's going to conclude our 2021 IDCTA Winter Eventing Challenge. We hope that you got some useful tips here on how to condition you and your horse, how to work a little bit towards your spring and summer goals, and that you've seen a change in your body and maybe your horse's body. If you have questions, if you have insights and ideas about what we can do in the future, go ahead and email us. You can reach us at hannaberryfarm@gmail.com. You can also reach out and try and take one of our eventing camps if you want to further your education on this. Let us know what you think. We look forward to seeing you at the shows, and have a great 2021 season. Thanks much.
Hi, I just wanted to check in with everyone regarding the winter conditioning program. Here's the third conditioning interval set for this program. Continue to practice this every 7 to 10 days for the level you have chosen to keep your horse healthy and fit. And feel free to check in with a respected trainer or coach regarding increasing the interval sets for your level throughout the spring and summer months. Have a great show season, and I hope to see you all out there.